Karen tried to evict my wife. She's FBI director, and now they're under review. The cul-de-sac on Maplewood Drive was a postcard of suburban bliss, manicured lawns, white picket fences, and Karen flowers. The self-appointed queen of the HOA Karen, with her clipboard and perpetual scowl, ruled with an iron grip, her rules etched into the neighborhood's soul. No unapproved mailboxes, no loud music, and absolutely no deviations from her vision of perfection. But when my wife, Elena, moved into my modest two-story home, Karen's reign faced its first real threat. Elena wasn't just my wife. She was the newly appointed director of the FBI, a fact I kept private to avoid attention. Her presence was a quiet storm, calm, commanding, and unyielding. She'd spent years dismantling cartels and terrorist cells. But Karen saw her as a trespasser on her turf. It started with petty notes. Your roses are non-compliant. Remove them. Elena, unfazed, kept her roses. They were her mother's favorite, a tribute to a woman who'd raised her alone through grit and sacrifice. Karen didn't know who she was provoking. The tension simmered for weeks. Karen's complaints escalated. Our car parked an inch too far from the curb, our porch light too dim. Neighbors whispered, sensing a showdown. I urged Elena to ignore her, but Karen was relentless. She'd stand on our lawn, barking orders at landscapers, claiming our property violated HOA codes. Elena, ever the strategist, watched and waited. She's not worth my time, she'd say, her voice steady but her eyes sharp. Then came the eviction notice. Karen, armed with a forged document claiming we'd missed HOA dues, marched to our door with 2 board members in tow. I was furious, but Elena? She smiled. Let's play her game, she said, her tone chilling. That night, I saw her make calls, her voice low, authoritative. I didn't ask questions. I knew better. The next morning, the neighborhood woke to chaos. Karen had rallied a small mob, 5 neighbors, clutching petitions, demanding we leave. They stood on our lawn, Karen at the helm, her voice shrill. This is about standards, she screamed. Elena stepped outside, her suit impeccable, her gaze lethal. You're trespassing, she said, her voice cutting through the morning air. Karen laughed, waving her clipboard. You're done here, lady. That's when the twist came. Mrs. Delaney, the quiet widow next door, shuffled forward. She was Karen's biggest supporter, always nodding along at HOA meetings. But now, her hands trembled as she held up her phone. I recorded you, Karen, she said, her voice breaking. You bribed the board. You faked the dues records. The crowd gasped. Mrs. Delaney, the unassuming retiree, had been Elena's ally all along, feeding her information for weeks. Karen's face drained of color. Elena didn't flinch. I'm giving you one chance to leave my property, she said. Karen, defiant, stepped closer. You think you scare me? She spat. Elena leaned in, her voice a whisper that carried like a blade. I'm the director of the FBI. You're under investigation for fraud, forgery, and harassment. The crowd froze. Karen stumbled back, her clipboard falling to the grass. Word spread like wildfire. By noon, FBI agents arrived, their black SUVs lining the street. Karen's house was searched, her computer seized. The HOA board was suspended, pending review. Neighbors, once her loyal followers, turned on her, sharing stories of her threats and manipulations. Mrs. Delaney, now a hero, revealed Karen had bullied her into silence for years. Elena's quiet power had unraveled Karen's empire in hours. But the victory was bittersweet. That night, Elena sat on our porch, staring at her roses. I didn't want this, she said, her voice heavy. I wanted a home, not a war. I held her hand, knowing the cost of her strength. Karen, meanwhile, faced ruin. Her husband left her, her reputation shattered. The neighborhood, once united under her tyranny, fractured into cliques, distrust lingering like a stain. The final blow came a week later. Karen, desperate, sent Elena a letter and apology laced with venom, blaming her for destroying the community. Enclosed was a single pressed rose, one of Elena's, stolen from our garden. It was a petty, final jab, but it cut deep. Elena burned the letter, but I saw the pain in her eyes. She'd won, but at what cost? The neighborhood was free, yet broken. Its harmony a casualty of Karen's ambition and Elena's unyielding justice. Mrs. Delaney visited the next day, bringing homemade cookies and a shy smile. "You gave me courage," she told Elena. It was a small light in the darkness, a reminder that even in conflict, humanity could shine through. But as Elena replanted her roses, I wondered if we'd ever feel at home here again. The cul-de-sac is quiet now, but the scars remain. Karen's house is for sale, her name a cautionary tale. Elena's roses bloom brighter, but she's more guarded, her trust in neighbors eroded. I watch her, my fierce, brilliant wife, and ache for the peace she deserves but may never find here. What do you think? Was Elena's response justice, or did it deepen the community's wounds? Share your thoughts on where right and wrong collide in this tangled mess of power and pride.